The socialists continue to ruin Scotland, up to a point where we now have an official housing emergency in Edinburgh. Yes, both the SNP and the Labour Party. Oh, let's not forget about the Green Minions, the Scottish Greens as well. So this is another news story that's been missing when it comes to the mainstream media reporting over the last few days. But we're going to give you the update in case you don't know. Edinburgh have now declared a housing emergency as the rent controls fail. Oh, who could have warned them that rent controls as a policy doesn't work? Oh, is it because all the trials that they did across Europe, when they tried it from Scandinavia to Western Europe, failed? Is it the same as New York, which failed? Is it the same as the universal basic income as an experiment that failed? And now we have this problem. Whether it's Sarwar or Yousaf as leaders of Labour or SNP, these people are responsible for the culture that has created governance in Scotland, whether it's Labour councils or SNP-led councils. There's the same problem all over the country. So, Edinburgh Council. The city records the UK's peak rental inflation rate at 13.7%. That's Edinburgh. Meanwhile, the Socialist Council mentioned that around 200 applications are received for every available social rented home. 200 per one house or flat, whatever they have. That is disgusting. Basically, what you have is a situation where safety net across the United Kingdom is no longer safety net because a lot of people are dependent on it. So now we're also running out of resources because of mass migration. We know that. But the other problem is, you could have prevented that. Not just by not allowing mass migration to happen, but by creating wealth, by making sure prosperity actually spreads around, actually using free market to grow the economy. Then more people would be getting their own private housing and fewer people would be dependent on a state to help them. But that's a whole different argument anyway. Now that they need help, why is the government not helping them? Because they made a boopsie. Let's not forget, 25th of September, this came out. The SNP was blasted over the abject failure of a rent control policy that has hiked rents to record levels. This was September. We are now in November. I'm not saying that, wow, that was the first time they received the warning, they had enough time. But they knew that before. But at least over the last few weeks, well, a couple of months now, they could have done something to reverse instead of declaring a housing emergency. But yes, it is too late for people in Edinburgh. Sadly. Now, do you know what they're doing? They have a new idea. They're going to be increasing taxes, not just on Scottish people, but they're also going to get more, they're begging more centralized money from London, which is English taxpayers. But they're also going to be increasing taxes on tourists to recover the funds. And you know what they did? They came out and said, we're going to increase taxes on tourists, which means fewer tourists will go to Edinburgh, even though it's beautiful. But if it's going to be expensive, what's the point, right? But they said, what we're going to do is we're going to use the money to sort out the graffitis and the mess around Edinburgh. I'm like, oh, this is complete messed up. How did we, as people in the West, start electing idiots in the position of power? What is wrong with us? As all of us, I'm talking about as a collective, not me individually, not you individually, as a collective. What is happening? We have to take some responsibility as individuals in the West for keep electing absolute crazy clowns. Let me know what you think, especially if you're from Scotland, especially if you're from Edinburgh. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.